Well, hi, everybody. I'm AJ Willoughby. Glad to have you back on another Monday night product call. Tonight, we are talking about trim and the new trim, actually. We've got trim happening tonight. And the reason we're focusing on trim is because we have just got so much stuff happening with it right now. A lot of people are asking questions about it because they're hearing so many testimonies about it and how it's really changing people's lives. And we've got a couple people on the call with us tonight, along with myself and Dr. Fred Templeman, and but a couple of people that have got some really incredible testimonies that are also great leaders, and so glad to have them with us tonight. We've got Wayne Ellis from way up north in Canada. For some of you that are in other parts of the world, it may not be up north, it may be down south, east, or west, or one of those. And then we've also got Shayna Pearson from St. Louis, right in the middle of the United States. And we're going to go ahead and just kick things right off with Shayna. So, Wayne, I'm going to let you mute yourself there just in case, just for any background noise. And Shayna, we're going to go to you and tell us a little bit about your journey. You have lost quite a bit of weight.
Yes.
And I've seen some of the pictures that you've posted online, and it's been remarkable. And
Yes.
so tell us so far with your M journey, how much weight have you lost so far?
So my story is no different than anyone else that's on a weight loss journey. I had extra weight. I've been overweight my entire life. Nothing has worked. And I mean diets, everything. So there's two things that have helped me. Number one is a complete diet change. And that was, you know my story through the help of a Dr. Oz. All he did is analyze my gut and told me the things I should not be eating. But how M really helped me was I have a sweet tooth like no other. And so I would be doing so well on my diet, and then I would just crash and give in to my cravings, and everything that I had worked so hard for would go out the window. What trim has done for me has been that replacement. So and I was a soda drinker, so I would polish off two liters a day. And John can be my witness to that. Soda was my go-to thing. And the first time that I drank trim, I said, I'm going to make this work. And so trim not only does everything that it says it's going to do. When I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is drink my trim. It suppresses the hunger cravings. Because I learned that 90% of the time that we feel those pains, we're really thirsty. So I start drinking this instead. And I find that I'm still functioning, I'm not dragging. In fact, I feel 10 times better. And so through my journey with M, I have lost a total of 115 pounds. I do take it with the burn. But it's not like, okay, well, if you drink the trim, you're just going to shed all this weight. There's work that you have to do. And so a lot of our customers ask us, well, am I going to just lose weight? I mean, it's a lifestyle change, but this right here by itself, you feel it working. I feel it. It's not just like a really good tasting drink. There's something in this that is, whether it's in my mind, my stomach, I don't feel as hungry. I eat less. And I will be 100% honest with you. Since I've really lost, once I started hitting these big numbers, when I appeared on the Dr. Oz show, I was at 70 pounds with the help of trim. Then I hit 80, then 90. Once I hit that 100 mark, I knew that there was going to be a complete epiphany here. I stopped having little cheat days. And so when you really drink trim and focus on what's good for your body's going to repay you, and the scale is going to make you happy. And I have never been this size. I think the one time I was in the size 14 that I'm in now was back when I was in 5th grade.
Wow.
And so this is a huge deal for me. And trim has been, I go through about 2 boxes a month. I drink it all the time. I'm getting my water intake. I'm drinking my trim. I don't have the desire to drink anything that is not good for your body. So trim has really changed my mindset more than just help me lose the weight. You're not going to want to put in some yucky stuff. I have no desire to drink soda. I have no desire to drink juice. Trim is really my life. John knows that I have some in my car, at work, at home. I have a box everywhere. I have to have trim.
That is incredible. 115 pounds.
Yes.
That is quite an accomplishment. Congratulations to you,
Thank
Shayna.
you.
So now tell us, so you're drinking your trim right now and you got something else in your bottle with it. What is
Yes.
that?
So, I am very much so into switching up the flavors. Us as humans, we get very complacent and bored of the same thing over and over. So to keep that spice in my trim, because I've been drinking this for a year now, I start adding fruits. And so, fruits are a healthy sugar. So in my trim today, I have a full lime cut up and a full lemon. The lime is going to give you that extra sweetness if you need it, because I dilute mine. This is a 1 liter container, so there's lots of water. And the lime's going to give you that lemonade taste. And so today I'm drinking pink lemonade. Tomorrow I might drink a minty drink. Whatever floats your boat. I put blueberries in it. I put strawberries. I put oranges. I put everything that's nutritionally good for you in my drink.
That's incredible. So Dr. Templeman, we've got an incredible story here. Over the past year, Shayna has lost 115 pounds. And tell us, what is this trim? I mean, we're hearing about it. We're hearing people that are losing tons of weight. I will tell a brief about my story here in just a few minutes. But tell us a little bit, what is going on? How is this making such a big difference?
Well, what we have is we've got a combination that includes green coffee leaf. We have glucuronolactone, and that's something that some people are a little bit concerned about. I am not terribly concerned about it. We have another product which is in the new trim, which is called oligonol. Let me just spend a couple of minutes talking about oligonol. Oligonol is the short chain polyphenols from lychee. Now, when products from plants, derived from plants, are eaten, we as omnivores do not do very well at digesting plant material because our body does not produce the enzyme which is capable of breaking down cellulose. And cellulose is what is in the cell wall of all plant cells. So we really get the benefit only from what we can kind of crunch up mechanically in our mouths and swish around through mechanical movement. We aren't able to sort of dissolve everything the way that we can with, say, things like proteins. And so we don't derive a tremendous amount of benefit, if you want to think of it that way, because benefit meaning a lot of the actual products themselves across the gut when we're looking at polyphenols from plants, because they're very large molecules. They're encased most of the time in cellulose, which we cannot break down effectively. And so what this is a processing outside the body of the chains of polyphenols, which normally are found in nature with up to 45 units in the chain. And this breaks them down to trimers, meaning 3 links of the chain, dimers, 2 links of the chain, or monomers. And that means that you're rendering the molecule before it goes in your body. You are rendering this molecule, which comes from the fruit lychee, which has been used for literally centuries in Chinese traditional medicine for many, many different things. But you now have a form of the lychee extract which is capable of getting across the gut barrier much more effectively. And what are some of the studies that they've done with it? Well, they find that it is a source of nitric oxide. Now, nitric oxide is a vasodilator. And anyone who wants to be able to get material into the cells through an efficient blood distribution is going to want to have cellular dilatation right down to the lowest level of the vessels, the capillaries. You're going to want to be able to get that. And also you want it on the other side in the venules because you want to be able to carry away any of the products of metabolism from the cell. So we know that it does that. There's a study, if somebody wants to get a hold of it, they can contact me and I'll tell them where to find it, that shows that 6 volunteers, young males, were given this at 30-minute intervals and were able to increase the heat that was delivered to their palms, to their face, to their hands by more than 4 times because of the dilation, the vasodilatation that goes with it. But more interesting to people who are trying to lose weight was that they did a study which wouldn't be allowed here in North America, but it was allowed in Japan. And that is that they took and x-rayed with a CAT scan. They x-rayed the abdomens of a number of people who were obese. And when you look at a CAT scan of someone who's obese, it looks like somebody's taken the liver and just packed it in little packing bubbles, taken the pancreas and kind of removed it from everything that it was pushing up against and outlaying it or lining it with material. This is the fat, the visceral fat. And the visceral fat is the nastiness fat in the world. If you've got a lot of fat back on your thighs and your hips, you're not likely to have serious metabolic problems because of that particular fat. You may have to turn sideways to get in a door, but you're not going to have problems with the kinds of chemical things that come from it. But if you are shaped like an apple instead of a pear, and you now are carrying most of your weight around your belly button, then this visceral fat is extremely active hormonally, and it produces pro-inflammatory hormones that predispose to all of the serious illnesses that kill us. So it's right there in the causes of diabetes, right there in the causes of clogged arteries, right there in the causes for most of the major illnesses that carry away North Americans. So they took this picture of their abdomens and the visceral fat, and then they told them to just carry on. Oh, excuse me while I just sleep for a minute. Carry on and eat normally, not necessarily engage in more activity than they previously had, and come back in 8 weeks and let's do another picture. And they did, and there was a 15 to 25% reduction in the amount of visceral fat that could be seen on that CAT scan. So that's quite a study. I can give the references for it if somebody wants to contact me if they're interested in reading about it. But that product is in here. And if, that product is available on the market, but if you go out and buy a single dose of it on the market, it costs more than our whole product put together. And we have the amount in there that makes a difference. So that may be why some people, along with and the other thing we have in there is we've got niacinamide, and that's a vitamin B. And we also have theobromine, which is a natural precursor for caffeine. So we do have natural caffeine from the green coffee tea leaves, and we have it in the form of theobromine. So we do have something which cranks your body up a little bit. And how does that help? Well, when you are alert, and that's what I mean by being cranked up, your awareness is there, you lose your desire to eat. It's like having a child who's afraid of a dog walking around them, and then you try and get them to eat an ice cream, and they won't. Even though they like ice cream, they're going to be more concerned with that dog walking around them. And that's the alertness that we have that lets us stay less than real hungry sometimes in the presence of the foods, which for us can be particular temptations. So that's why I think it works. Now, I recommend that people use it up to 3 times a day, because there are many folks out there using it without necessarily using the burn with it. And the burn is something that is limited in its use because I don't recommend it for more than 2 months at a time. And it is something that you need to go on and go off, as I suggested, but you do have to watch your blood pressure when you're on that, particularly if you are already under care, a doctor's care for high blood pressure, you need to watch that your heart rate does not go up with this product, which is intended to not only raise your sense of alertness like the trim does, but also to crank up your metabolism the few percentage points that we can do with herbal ingredients. So I think it's a great product. Certainly it's the kind of product that I saw a lady who contacted me the other day and said, you know, I'm sorry I missed your call, Dr. Templeman, because I was up in the mountain running and I wanted to know how much burn and trim I should use. And I thought, oh, something doesn't fit here, because most people who are using burn and trim are not running in the mountains every day. So I said, would it be possible for us to have a bit of FaceTime? So we got some FaceTime, and I took a look at this lady and I said, you're not fat. And she said, no, I'm not, but I don't want to be. And I was before. And I said, so you're using the burn and the trim to be able to keep you from getting fat, but you're also running in the mountain and you're eating differently? She said, yeah, I am. And I said to her, let me suggest that the trim is probably going to be all that you require. I don't think you need to be into heavy duty appetite suppression when you're as active as you are, when you're aware of the kinds of things that you need to be eating. I think the trim is going to do the job for you very, very nicely. And I had another lady who called me who said, when does this thing stop? I'm losing a pound a day. I said, whoa, if you're losing a pound a day by taking the trim 3 times a day, start taking it twice, because a pound a day is too much to lose. And the reason I was concerned about that is because when we get the pollutants from our environment, the body tries to get rid of them, but it can't get rid of all of them. We're just literally bathed in it. We breathe it, we eat it, we smell it. It's not anything that is easy to get rid of. And so when you have the leftovers, that is stored in the fat cells of your body. And when you're losing a pound a day, and a good portion of that, of those 3,500 calories, is coming from the burning of fat, you're releasing all of those toxins into your body, and a pound a day is just a little bit too fast to go at it. I told her, look, the most aggressive I would suggest would be a half a pound a day. So cut it back and see how you're doing. I've talked to her since. She did cut back to twice a day, and she's managing to lose nicely. And this is someone who tells me that she tried everything else before, and it just didn't make a difference for her.
I hear you, and I agree. And in fact, you mentioned last week about that just to be careful, you know, that you may not want to lose a pound a day. And you know, up until last week, you know, about a week and a half ago, I had started taking the trim about once a day. And you mentioned about how, you know, be careful because they were taking 3 a day and started losing a pound a day. So I obviously started taking upped mine from 1 a day to 3 a day. And thankfully, I have lost a pound a day. And I am glad about that. I don't want to change that. I want to lose a pound a day right now, Dr. Templeman. So
okay.
after I get down a little bit longer, I'll slow it down.
All right.
Right now,
Scout's honor.
Working. Yeah, when it gets down to a little more, and so I've been dropping. So I've lost 14 pounds in the last about 12 days, but it's been a pound a day for the past about 6 days now.
Yeah,
since I increased that.
It will suppress your appetite. And that means you don't eat to what your eyes want, you eat to what your stomach wants. And that is about 1/3 to 1/4 of what most of us are used to pushing in between the molars.
Yeah, exactly. So I will heed your advice in time.
Okay.
In the meantime, I want to go right now, and I want to introduce our gentleman from way up north, up in Canada. And this man is a good friend of mine. We've known each other a long time, and a real true leader. And Wayne Ellis. Wayne, hey, there you are. Wayne, tell us a little bit about your story.
My story. Well, as far as with the trim goes, you know, same as everybody who's trying to lose a bit. I've struggled with weight my whole life too. I got up to like 240 pounds was my heaviest. And I mean, I started out at 6 pounds 4. So, that's huge, right? Did you catch that?
Say that again.
I heard
6
you,
pounds
Wayne.
4.
Yeah, my heaviest was 240 and I started out at 6 pounds 4.
Oh, that's
So-
when you were born. Yeah. I
Yeah.
have that same problem.
Gotcha.
I've been putting it on my whole life. But you know what? For me, my biggest problem, and I'll just say straight up, is my eating habits are bad. In that, some days I wouldn't eat till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, like my first meal. I would drink coffee, but when you're doing that kind of stuff, your body, even if because it thinks that you're starving to death, so when it does get something good, bad, or indifferent, it's going to hang on to it. That's my understanding. I think that drinking the amount of water that we drink, once we get used to taking the M products, I understand that there's flushing there is getting toxins and stuff out of your system too, and you can actually lose weight from that. I don't know if that's right. Dr. T can touch on that, but that's my understanding anyway. So when I started, you know what? I just I changed a few things. I noticed that when I started taking these products or whatever, that I was getting hungrier in the morning. So I still don't eat breakfast, but I do eat at my first break at 10 o'clock. For me, having trim later in the day after dinner or whatever helped me in the evening, because I would just eat because it's there, or because I'm bored, or because I'm watching TV or whatever. So it helped me there. I'm not good with eating plans and stuff. I tried it with the last company we were with, phenomenal program, I believe, but it was really complicated for me. If Ange goes away somewhere, I'm toast and cereal. That's my staples, So eating plans was definitely not a thing for me, but it was easy for me to change certain things. Like if I'm going to get a hamburger, if we went out or something like that, instead of getting a hamburger and fries, I get a hamburger and salad. So I could do things like that. Where you park, I park farther away so that I walk farther. I'm fairly active anyway, but you know what, just doing things like that, taking stairs instead of an elevator. So really, I didn't go into some big program, start working out at the gym and all that kind of stuff. I used to work out. I was really into it. But after having kids and whatever, I just, life just, it wasn't my thing to get back into that kind of a mode again. And I've tried it a few times, but not for me. But having something that basically just takes away the cravings, that feeling of wanting to eat at night. And like I say, because for me, it's not like I'm going to go to the fridge and, make something good to eat. I'm going to go for junk, because I don't have a big sweet tooth particular, but I do have a junk tooth, because whatever I eat it's going to be the top 10 of all the things that are going to make you put on weight. So just not having the craving for it when it comes out, I still look at it and it's like, oh man, I know how good that tastes, but you know what? I don't have any interest in eating it. So,
So Wayne, tell us, you've had some pictures posted on Facebook, some pretty dramatic results. What has been your weight? How much weight have you lost so far?
I think just over 40 pounds, maybe 45 pounds. I didn't even know that I did, to be honest with you. The picture that's on Facebook where I'm holding the shorts up like that, Ange had gone through a bunch of my clothes, because we moved, as most from BC out to Ontario. And so we ended up with a bunch of stuff that was packed that just came because it was packed. And so she had put these, a bunch of clothes on the bed and said, try these on and see if you still want to keep them or whatever. And I held this pair of shorts up and I'm like, oh, look at this. 2 of me could wear these. And I couldn't believe it. She's like, oh my God, we got to take a picture. And that was maybe 2 or 3 weeks before the Get Trim 2018 thing had started. So it's like I had a picture by accident ready to go for that thing without even realizing. We don't have scales. I don't go by that. I just go by how my clothes fit. That's my thing. So, I can tell when the seasons have changed. That's
yeah.
But really holding that up, and it was like, holy crap, I got to figure out how much I weigh right now. And like I say, my heaviest was 240. I think I was probably around 230 or something like that when I started. Now I was down to $190. So, yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. So, and we hear a lot of that. A lot of people say, don't rely totally on the scales. Look at how your clothes are fitting. Look at what other things are happening.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's so nice when you see the scales going at the same time with that. So Dr. Templeman, based on, what you're hearing from Wayne's story, what else do you have to add from all that?
Well, it's interesting that Wayne didn't talk about a time period, that he said he was sort of aware when something came by in his environment that made him take a look at those shorts, and he realized that it had gone on. Most of us who are looking at weight, we watch it on a daily basis, but some of us would do well to simply implement good, solid habits that don't need to be checked out with a scale every day, and simply watch after a period of time has elapsed. That works for some people. There are other people who actually take a graph and put it on their wall, and they have each mark in the graph put at 1/4 of a pound, so that when you've lost a pound, you got a nice long line. And that is a reinforcement for them. So different things for different folks.
Well,
But
pictures
simply,
too.
yeah.
Pictures too. Like I had
That's
an
correct.
X-ray done. I had to get an X-ray on my head. Didn't realize how heavy I was at that time. I actually have it here.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Just get a
Nice
big-
picture, Wayne.
when your head's shaved, you just get a big fat round head when you put on weight. So I don't like
Babe, do you have
that.
that picture of that shirt? Well, I have a picture of a shirt too. Just if it's cool, if I can show you. John and I were actually going through my clothes yesterday, and I found a shirt from when I first moved here. I was a size 26. I don't know if we'll be able to show it to you, but Wayne's looked so good. Let's see if we can see it here.
All righty.
Can you see it? Where's the?
It doesn't look like a shirt. It looks like a wardrobe.
Boom!
Wow.
Shakalaka!
So the pants. So this has been an amazing journey, guys. I'm so excited. And here's the pants. We found a pair of pants. Let me see.
Wow.
Wow.
That's so
Shayna.
cool.
Good job, girl.
Good job, Wayne, and everyone else.
I use that as a turban now, Wayne. That's what I do. buddy.
Don't listen to my crazy husband.
that is incredible. Shayna, Wayne, this has been incredible. Your all's testimony is just super inspiring. And, this is what we're seeing that's happening with this product. Amazing weight loss. And of course, Dr. Templeman, he's going to say, be careful how you take it because you don't want to lose weight too fast. Yeah, well, I ain't worried about that yet.
For me, specifically, coming from a personal standpoint, the reason I do everything, like I had to hide my scale because I was getting so obsessed with the numbers dropping that when it didn't drop, I was like, ooh. But I'm also now able to, for the first time in my life, hit the gym. So I just ran my first 2.5 miles in under 30 minutes. That I've never been able to do that. I've joined CrossFit. I can do these things now to start toning and rebuilding my body the way it should have been, damage control, so to speak.
That's because she's about to be a soldier. She ain't told everyone that, but when you married a soldier, now she's training to be a real soldier, Dr. Templeman.
Fantastic.
Yes, guys, it is the truth. Please keep that on the low. I've already passed all the exams for the National Guard. It's going down. But I am down to my last 8%. The 8% that I need to lose, I'm in that final window. And I can't say that it's, M had a huge role in it, but it is true. Changing the way you think, changing the way you eat, and what you like. For me, I think of my body as a car. I need to only put the best gas in my vehicle. And so same thing with my body. I don't do anything that's processed or, added sugars and all this other crazy nonsense. I only eat the best of the best. And within weeks, I was losing lots of weight, but Dr. Templeman, the reason I was losing so much was because my calorie intake when I was at my heaviest at almost 400 was probably roughly 10,000 calories a day. And so but this is not realizing how much I was eating and how big I was until I saw those pictures. Changing that to eating healthy. I don't starve myself. I still eat goodies once in a while because my body has changed and it knows how to process it better. I don't eat it every day. But once I dropped my calorie intake to a normal ratio, the weight just started flying off. And so I'm at the point where I'm stabilizing, not plateauing because I'm toning. But yes, trim and burn is the way to go, guys. This is going to be in my life until Dr. Templeman says, stop drinking it. You're about to toothpick. When you tell me I'm hula hooping through Cheerios, that's when I'll stop drinking.
Yeah. I'll tell you something too about the scales. If I can just add two things. Number one, I eat every 3 hours. I don't eat a lot, but I eat every 3 hours through the
As
day.
you should.
And I don't use scales because when I was working out, I was actually trying to train to get into to do it professionally. This is before my boys were born, so 24, 25 years ago. But because when you're losing weight, but you're exercising, you can be putting on lean muscle mass. And a lot of people do this, but some people don't. But you can be putting on lean muscle mass and thinking, well, what the heck? I'm not dropping any weight here. And it's like, you may be dropping fat, but putting on muscle. So to me, it's way more important to be measure your arms, measure your legs, measuring stuff and
absolutely
smaller amounts, but a lot more times is definitely going to be key, I think.
Absolutely. My sergeant says the same thing. I actually have mine right here. I do not use the scale anymore because it can be deceiving, especially if you're retaining water or you're gaining muscle mass. I think my legs have gained the most muscle mass since. So in fact, the scale started jumping up and I got nervous and thought I was eating something I shouldn't and started reevaluating and overanalyzing and freaking out. And I told John, throw away the scale. Something's wrong. It isn't. It's exactly what you said. Muscle weighs more than fat. I've started turning the roles here, turning the tables here and losing the fat and gaining the muscle, which is what I need so that I can finally get into the National Guard. Woo-hoo!
That's amazing. Congratulations. Very,
Thanks.
very awesome. So Dr. Templeman, as we close out here, what final words do you have for us?
What more could I say than what those guys have said? Losing weight is harder than, as I've said before, is harder than changing your hair color with your mind. So when you guys manage to do this, hats off to you, because it is the greatest challenge in North America in modern life, and you have done it well.
The only other way to lose weight quicker than that, my ex-wife lost over 200 pounds. Divorce. We still love each other.
I wouldn't be a human if I lost that much weight. That's where I stand now. I can't lose any more weight.
Well, that was her. She lost me. That was the 200 pounds she got rid of.
So on that note, I want to remind you all, we've got calls happening all throughout the rest of the week this week. We've got calls tomorrow night, and it's going to be, you can give to those. You can see the calls that are going to be happening a couple different places. mnetworkcalls.com. You can also go to empowerplan.com and go to the calendars. So empowerplan.com/calendar, and you'll see a list of all the different calls. There's also calls Monday mornings with Andy Willoughby. Thursday evenings is the Cat Call with Cat Barnes. And of course, Saturday morning we have the business call that happens with Dennis and Sue Ligon. So thank you so much, Shaina, Wayne, Dr. Templeman. Appreciate you all being on the call tonight and hearing y'all's amazing testimonies. We will talk to you all later. Everybody, have a great night.
Ciao.
Good night.
Bye.